What up, guys? Welcome to the New American Dream podcast. I'm your host, George Gibson. All right, we got another awesome real estate show today, all about, taking action. Take action. But before we get into the show, I just want to talk about this week. I just been, dealing with I'm a realtor, so I deal with a lot of people trying to purchase homes or purchase investment properties. And one of the number one concerns is people want to know, is it a seller market? Is it a buyer market? You think the market's going to drop? Oh, you think the roof's any good? Oh, you think the plumbing any good? All these what ifs, or do I know the future? I'm not a fortune teller. What I can tell you in my experience from purchasing real estate, I purchased properties, and I purchased properties wanting cash flow. I wanted good rental income. But side note, I didn't expect the property to appreciate 30, 40% in 1 year, 2 years. So, when you buy a property, it's all risk. If you don't want to take no risk, go to work and get a paycheck. But real estate, it's always going to be risk. You don't know. We can't control the world. You can't control other people's mind. So with that being said, you have to make a smart, judgmental decision. Do your research, learn about the market, and make an offer. That's simple. We procrastinate and wonder if this and that. And these days, if you keep on second guessing yourself, guess what? You will never purchase a deal because somebody like me gonna come in and make an offer and it's gone. So this episode right here today, we have our guest. She is fearless. I mean, she literally is jumping in the water, no life jacket. Help, throw the life jacket and let's get it done. And with that being said, she is becoming successful and just learning, because the biggest learning is failure. So you might not make that much money, but you learn something when you actually buy the property. By just reading the books and all kinds of things, it's certain skills you're not going to learn. So just listen to her story and how she just taking action and making smart decisions. And the doors are just opened up. It give you a lot more options. Real estate is a time game. Time heals all mistakes, and usually it appreciates. You're not that scared to buy a car, and that depreciate. So let's get ready for this show. We have our great guest. Her name is Soli, and she's buying properties now, and she's fearless. So listen up. Let's go. All righty, welcome to the show, Soli.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So all right. Tell the people who you are and a little bit about what you do.
Okay, so my day job is as a commercial real estate broker. So I help companies, like buy and sell and lease real estate, whether it's office, warehouses, land, any of those kind of asset classes. And then on the side, I'm working on building my out-of-state rental portfolio in Ohio. So I'm located in the Silicon Valley in California. So I'm investing out of state.
Uh-oh, you're in California. Everybody in California is going to the Midwest. So
yes. So my mom's actually from the Midwest, and so I have family out there. We actually do some commercial work out there too. And so it's kind of the place where, the deals just made sense. They cash flowed well. The price points were good. And I also just had connections where, the hardest part of investing out of state is finding people you trust. And so,
so you have connections. You have family where you invest in that, basically?
Kind of. I mean, I have family in near Lexington, Kentucky.
Right.
But, it's more my work connections in Cincinnati where we were doing a deal. They were the ones who were able to connect me with real estate agents, contractors, property managers, things of that sort.
All right. Wow. Okay. All right. So, and then I'm in Florida, and if you know it, a lot of people in California right now, and they said 1,000 people, a lady today told me 1,000 people a day are moving to Florida from New York. And I'm like, geez, because of, taxes and just everybody want to spread out now. So, yeah, I get a lot of calls from California too every day. They want to buy properties cash because the deals here are way more, I guess better than the one in California right now.
I think just cash goes further. And so when you're talking about California properties, you need, say it's $1 million house, you need $200,000 down plus another $100,000 to fix it up. And it's coming up with that kind of cash is just, it takes a long time and there's a lot more risk. And you can get, better returns than somewhere like Ohio for $100,000 purchase price, $20,000 down. Like $20,000 down is way easier to save up than $200,000
So,
with people with their lives savings.
so I'm a realtor, right? I'm a realtor. I just got to ask this. But if I got a pre-approval letter right now for a $200,000 purchase price in California, where I'm staying at?
Like, what could you buy?
Yeah.
Nothing in where I live. So, I mean, maybe in like the Central Valley in the middle of nowhere, maybe you could buy something. You know what? I was looking at houses the other day in Long Beach, California, and I found a 250 square foot studio for $250,000. So,
Oh my
you
gosh.
could buy that if you want.
Jeez, that is great. You know, the average home here is probably like around 180. Like, I'm a realtor, so like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, 1,500 square feet house, you're looking at about 200 grand. So that's like the average purchase price right now.
Yeah,
that is crazy.
I think our average purchase price is around $1 million, and that's for like a whatever 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom in like a whatever location. But like I said, you can buy a 200 square foot studio in Long Beach if you want.
Jeez, man, that's crazy, man. But all right, so let's start from the beginning. All right, what made you get into like real estate? Did your parents? How was you growing up? What was your parents doing?
So my dad is actually an immigrant from the Philippines. He works in like import export logistics. My mom was a professional violinist, and she didn't take anything above like algebra 1 maybe. And so growing up, I mean, they weren't really into business. We were probably like lower middle class, just do your job, get out. And so I started working from a really young age just because I hated asking my parents for money. They argued all the time about budgeting and money. And so I didn't want to add to the problem. And so I just went out at 14. I got a job at a coffee shop. I worked there for 5 years, actually, until I was about 19, through a little bit of college. And then I did my freshman year without working. And I don't know, I needed money. And so one of my friends offered me a job, or there was an opening in a commercial real estate firm, and I didn't know anything about commercial real estate. And so I was like, sure, I need a paycheck, whatever, I'll take a job. And so when I interviewed, I remember I told them, like, I don't know anything about real estate, but I'll give it a shot. I'll try anything. And so I interned there for 3 years all throughout college. And then I started full-time in June when I graduated. I just graduated in June from college. So I'm 22, by the way. And so, I mean, I've been surrounded for the past like 3 years with like real estate and real estate investing. But it wasn't until about March of this year during the pandemic where I was like, work is slow, not much is going on. I'm just going to try my hand right now while I'm young, while there's not much to lose. Let's just try investing out of state. So it was more like a boredom type of thing, like, work is slow, let's just try type of thing. And I just jumped and went for it. And it went so fast after that, I just didn't have time to think.
Wow. So after college, did you go get a job in your career path first or no?
Yeah, so I mean, I was interning at a firm for 3 years. It's Cushman & Wakefield. It's just like a big commercial real estate firm. Okay. And so I just continued on, same team, same company, so I'm still working there. I'm actually in the office right now.
Oh, wow.
So that, yeah.
So what was your major if you work for a real estate company?
So I was a finance major with a sustainability minor, and I wanted to get into just sustainable development, like building sustainable communities and buildings. And so when my good friend said there's a job opening and brokerage open, again, like I didn't want to get into brokerage, but I said, like, if that will lead me to development one day, sure, why not? Ended up like kind of liking that and sticking around for a while. So that's what I've been doing. There's a lot of good overlap with investing. And so it's been good for just learning the numbers and learning the market and just like being familiar with real estate terms.
Right. Oh, this is crazy because, all right, I had interviewed another guy like yesterday, but he was like 30 years older than both of us. I'm 30. He's maybe like 50 something, right? But the crazy thing about it was he was a bouncer at like maybe at your age now, right? And at your age now, I was a mailman. And you know, like you say you worked at a coffee shop, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is what I'm trying to get to. All right, he said when he became a bouncer, he thought it was like just a regular job. But come to find out, he started basically he the first person to see a human before they walk in the club. So he started communicating, networking like really good with humans. Me as a mailman, I'm delivering mail. All of a sudden, I know where all the vacant houses at. You know, I know all the landlords. Not ever thinking that it's gonna help me in my longevity. You know, so you working at the coffee shop. What are things like right now that you can see that you learned from the coffee shop and you kind of doing it in the real estate?
That's a good one. Honestly, when I was 14 when I got hired, I was so shy and didn't like talking to people. But like, I just feel like since I was forced to talk to people all day long and I got to know people really well, um, I became like 100% the opposite, extroverted, and I think that has really, really been one of the biggest benefits from working at a coffee shop is being able to talk to anybody about anything, especially like, I don't know, just finding like commonalities between people. It's not something that everyone can do, but being at a coffee shop, it really forces you to do that just all day long. It's just a soft skill that you can't really learn in school.
You can't learn it at school, and that's the great like that's how like people. All right, most people right now they want to get started in real estate or they already in it. They go look on the internet for the next house to buy. And you know, like the coffee shop, that's where the deal's at. The people in there own the houses on the internet. So it's like,
Oh my, yeah, no, I know. And I'm so tempted to just like quit my job and go work at a coffee shop because it's such good networking. And I'm like, oh, I can meet all the investors. But I mean, this job is equally as important just for like the numbers part of it, the analysis, the contracts. Like now I know how to write my own contracts. Now I know how to negotiate with other agents. I can call brokers and feel confident, because I do that all day long for my job. And so when I'm representing myself, it's like they can't tell how old I am because I sound like I've been doing this for a while, which I have been because I've been doing this for 3 years. And so, I feel like it's good. I don't plan to stay in a W-2 job for a long time, but definitely these jobs have really built skill sets, like very important skill sets that really carry over to investing. And I probably wouldn't have been able to acquire them if I just went straight to investing.
Right. So all right. So let's go to your first deal. How did you find your first deal?
Okay, so like I said, I started looking into investing in March of this year, maybe end of March, maybe April. Right. And so I called up my friend in Cincinnati and said, connect me with a real estate agent, and he did. And I was just looking on Zillow, as people do, saw one that had just fallen out of contract, ran the numbers. It was going to cash flow about like $500, which is fantastic. And so called the agent. It was under contract before anyone ever stepped foot into the house. And so we made
you
an
had
offer.
the first offer. You had the first offer.
So now it had fallen out of contract with a previous investor because he didn't like the front steps of the house, which is very strict. And so I had seen that it had fallen out of contract, and I just told my agent, please call the other agent and put in an offer. The other agent said, we need it by 5 p.m. today, aka like 2 hours from now. Said, fine, whatever, no inspection. Put in the offer. It was under contract that day. And then I had like 7 days of inspection, and I closed 30 days later. So it moved so fast. So I started looking in April, went under contract in June, closed in July, and then I flew out to Cincinnati in August. And I spent, I spent about 3 or 4 weeks out there, working on the project myself, working on renovations. I put in about $20,000 of renovations. So bought it for 100-ish, put in $20,000, turned a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom into a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom. And I'm going to be refinancing in January, and hopefully 100% cash out refinancing. And so it wasn't honestly an intentional burr, but when I got to the property, I saw that the dining room could be converted into a 3rd bedroom. And so I just drywalled it up and added a door and a closet, and like, boom, 20 grand of equity created.
See, that's so crazy, right? All right. Because, the hardest part is, I think, pulling the trigger. Like, the first deal is normally the hardest deal because, like, you're so scared you're going to lose your money. But
yeah.
I look at it because you jumped in head first. You went and bought a deal all the way across the United States. You flew out here for 3 or 4 weeks, and you put 20 grand into it. Like, what I'm trying to say. Like, were you was doing the work yourself, first of all? Like, the rehab?
So, since work was again slow in commercial real estate, I really wanted to do some of the work myself just so that I understood the construction process. Because going in, I knew nothing. Like, what is drywall? Like, I don't know, And so I just wanted to get my hands dirty and like talk to the contractors, meet my team. And so I did a lot of the kitchen renovations and bathroom renovations myself, just out there by myself, sleeping in my house on the floor. It was a lot intense. I slept on the floor, no internet, like mid-construction zone, nails coming out the floor. But it was an adventure. And then my general contractor took over after that, and he like did more of the drywall stuff and like refinished the hardwood floors. And that was like another month. And the renovations just finished in like maybe a week or 2 ago. So now it's on the market. So just to recap on numbers, bought it for 100, put in 20 grand, will appraise hopefully for at least 160 or 170. And I'm renting it for $1,500 a month.
Wow, you did your thing right there. That was a good deal.
So it'll cash flow before refinance $500 to $600, which is crazy because when I underwrote the deal, I thought it was going to be $200. I thought it would rent for $1,100, but the things that when you fly there yourself, and everyone told me, no way we could make this a 3-bedroom, no way. But when I flew over there, I actually met my neighbor, and my neighbor had the 100% replica of my house.
With a 3-bedroom.
And with the 3 bedrooms, yeah, he had made it himself, put a curtain up on 2 walls.
Right.
And so, oh my gosh, I can do that. And so, and just like that, I created, I don't know, 20 grand of equity.
20 grand, yeah.
Another $200 to $300 in cash flow just for, I think it was like $2 grand to build the closet and drywall the wall.
See, all right, and that's the thing right there I was trying to get to. You don't know when you buy a property, you don't know if it's going to appreciate, you don't know if it's going to depreciate, you don't know if you're going to find a hidden extra bedroom. So it's like everybody want to, you want to buy a deal and you want to know exactly what's going to happen. And I don't think you ever going to know exactly what's your potential in a property until you actually in that situation,
And everyone says like your first deal isn't to make money per se, it's to get an education. And so you're not going like home run, you're going base hit here. And you're like, maybe you strike out the first one, but the important part is that you just take the lessons and you move on to the next one. And so like I got lucky. To me, this is a home run deal, but it wasn't my intention going into it. When I bought it and I did the numbers, it was just base hit. It was fine. It was okay. And so that's kind of my mindset is like $200 a door, like
that was the key what you said. You go for a base hit. You just starting out. I don't suggest going, over a high price range in your market. I don't suggest doing a major rehab. Stay, at minimum possible low numbers and a minimum rehab. That way, I think it's less risk. And even for me, I basically try to do a safe first deal. but it ended up being a home run.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it ended up being a home run.
Yeah, just like get your feet wet, you know,
Yeah.
especially if you're scared, like take on a cosmetic rehab. That was mine. You know, like I could get a conventional loan on my house. I didn't have to go hard money or anything, nothing crazy, just a
Right.
regular loan, you know, just cosmetic repairs. If I did it myself, it probably would have been a lot cheaper if I did the whole thing myself. But yeah, so I don't know. To me, it's not that scary, probably because I'm young. And if I lost 20 grand, it's okay. Like I'll get it back eventually, you
Right.
know, when you have not much, there's nothing to lose. And
Right.
so, yeah, it would hurt because that's, you know, it's a lot. It takes a lot to save, but I think that the learning experience is totally worth it. And just jump in. That's what I keep telling people.
Right. And I want to ask you, what was your biggest fear before you bought it? But I honestly don't think you really had any fear. I think you was like, let's go get it, you know?
I didn't have time to think, actually. So my pre-approval from the bank wasn't even done when I put this house under contract. Like the bank
Wow.
hadn't even told me I could buy a house yet, and I was like, I'm buying it, you know. And there came to a point when I bought this on an intern salary because I wasn't hired yet. I wasn't hired. It was like the weird transition between like I graduated, but I'm still an intern, but it's coronavirus, so like I haven't been hired yet.
Right.
And so there was a time when the bank was just like, we don't know if we're going to be able to give you this loan. And
Wow.
so I think that was my biggest fear is like, oh no,
You might lose the
the
deposit.
bank can't get me a loan. But saying that, like I then at that point I called up a bunch of my friends and was like, who's going to loan me $20,000 for just a couple days, you know? And I got like enough people to say, okay, in case of an emergency, I will loan you like $20,000 from 5 different people to cover your purchase price. That, you know, like there's always ways to make things work. You know, if the bank financing doesn't work out, find a private money lender. You know, I think that what got me, obviously I had a lot of like maybe a couple doubts buying my first place because like I don't know, my parents weren't really like walking me through the process. I'd never done it before. I don't have a primary residence, but I had a friend who was also an out-of-state investor who kind of every time I freaked out would be like, it's okay, like it's okay to feel like that, you're okay, you know. There's a lot of moments, so, like the important part is having someone to be like, it's okay, it's normal, like you'll get through it, it's okay.
Right.
And that's what really like helped me.
Yeah, that made sense now that you did have somebody. If something happened and you didn't understand it, you could call that person, right?
Yeah, no, and that's why mentors are important. Or if not even mentors, then just like a friend who invests in real estate, or just like an Instagram community, which I had too, and that really helped me out when I was like, oh my gosh, my property isn't going to appraise or something like that. And I mean, I would spend like, you know, a couple minutes talking about my problems on my Instagram stories, and bunches of people would come in like, this is how you fix that. And so I think, you know, sharing your story and like the process on a social media platform like Instagram can like totally take away that fear, because every day you watch people do it. And that was me too. Is like I follow 400 people who do it every single day. If they can do it, then like I can do it too.
Right, exactly. Wow. All right. So this is different from real estate, but what's something you think about every day when you wake up? Like,
Oh man. I don't know, maybe about like how I'm going to fund my next deal, or like what the next deal is. And so, you know, earlier when I bought my first one, my concern was like, okay, I've spent my life savings on the down payment and the rehab. Like, how do I,
keep
like,
going.
how am I going to buy the next one, you know? And for a while that was like my biggest issue. But then I got into like raising private money. And again, that happens like through my Instagram. I had people reach out to me like, we want to work with you. And so that's how I'm funding my next deal, my triplex that I'm under contract for. I am using private money. And now that I know that private money is a thing, now I'm like, okay, how can I syndicate more private money and buy bigger deals? And so, you know, I've looked at 12 plexes. I've looked at like 19 unit properties, and now my mind is like just blown on like the possibilities of like owning bigger multifamily,
Right.
and using other people's money to, you know, like fund those bigger deals, because I feel like I'm good at like rallying people together and finding the deals and like finding the money. It's just like, I just feel like my world has opened up at the possibility of like bigger and more deals, and I'm not constrained by my capital anymore.
Right. So, all right, if you go out here, like a lot of people say, I want to use hard money, private money. If this is your first time using private money, how did you know what's a fair number? Did you get like help, or as far as how setting up your partnership?
Of interest?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So I like to start by saying, or just like understanding what they're currently getting on their investments.
Right.
And so when I presented, I would be like, okay, your money is it sitting in an account? Are you currently investing it? Like, what are your current returns? And so if it's sitting in an account and getting like 0.01% interest, then you can kind of be like, okay, well, we're going to go on the lower scale to start and say like, I don't know, 6% interest. Like, would you consider investing with me? That type of thing. If they're getting like 6 to 7% in the market, like investing in stocks, then I would say, okay, they're not going to be happy with anything besides like 8 to 9%, you know, or at least something that matches their investments. And so that's how I kind of like to approach it. And the private money that I'm using for my triplex, I believe, was just sitting in like just a bank account type of thing.
Right.
And so I am getting 7% annually on that money. Which to me is a great deal. It's cheaper than hard money, you know, especially with my experience level. And I was able to get it for 3 years. So it's a 3-year term, 7% paid annually, which is great for me. And it really multiplies your return on capital. So like if it was all my cash, it would probably be like a, I don't know, 15% cash on cash return. But because I'm using someone else's money and paying 7% and only like, I don't know, probably at the end of the day, I'll have like 10 grand of cash inside this deal. It really multiplies it. I ran it the other day and it was like 45% cash on my cash, which is like insane. And so I didn't have to give up any equity in my properties. And I'm just paying interest, and maybe I'll refinance this one. Maybe I'll flip a property and pay it back, but it's 3 years down the line. I'm sure I'll come into however much money I need by then.
So the triplex, is this out of state too?
Yeah, it's actually 1 mile from my first house in Cincinnati.
Smart. So at least you can ride a bike, you know, from your properties when you go there.
Exactly. Exactly.
So are you analyzing your deals yourself?
I am. Yeah. So I actually made a rental calculator. It's on my website if anyone wants to look at it.
No, we finna do it live right now. All right. This is called.
No. So my website is currently under.
No, not your website. Not your. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna do that. Trust me. I know. I was trying to find information, but we're gonna do this. Because a lot of people do not know how to find deals. So let's go right here.
Oh man, you're gonna test my math.
No, we want to basically show a deal that you would go look at potentially, you know. So let's go to Huntsville, Alabama. What purchase price would you like? What are you doing in
Let's go to Cincinnati. Maybe I might know that a little better.
All right, Cincinnati.
Okay, let's go to Norwood, Ohio. It's a little town.
Norway?
Norwood.
Oh, Norwood, Ohio.
Ohio, yeah. Let's go 200,000 and lower.
Well, let's make it lower. Let's make it 150. So
I don't think that.
They don't go that low?
I'm not sure. We'll see. You can try.
So I did we got 200,000. Let's go new listings. These are all houses. All right, let's see which one would you want to look at first. So we got this.
You can try to find a lower Do you have a map version?
Let's go. We'll go to 100. Let's see what they got at 100 first.
Okay. Usually the ones that are 100 aren't in the best areas.
Yeah.
Can you go to
what?
Can you go to a map version so we can view the map?
Hold on.
On the right side, it says map.
Oh, I see it. Yeah. All right. So we over here in Norwood.
Okay, so the northern area of Norwood is a little bit sketchy, and so we're going to go to the southern area.
All right, let's go right here.
Okay,
we just want to let's analyze the deal. This one right here. Let's see. All right. This one.
Okay. Let's get this.
Let's do it. All right, we got 2 bedroom, 1 bath, 1,000 square feet, listed for $79,000. What else? Property details. 2 bedroom, 1 bath.
Maybe go through the pictures.
Okay, yeah, I see the pictures. All right. This is
no pictures. That's a red flag. I hear on TikTok that it might be a good deal because people aren't willing to reach out to the agents if there's no pictures.
Yeah, let's try this one because this one got pictures probably. Just even though it's under contract. All right, so we got a $90,000 house, 3 bedroom, 1 bath. Look at the pictures. They look good inside. Do you know the rents in that area?
So this is pretty north, and so I'm not exactly. So the problem with Cincinnati is it goes very street by street.
Right.
And so what you'll have to do is go to Zillow.
Okay. It's gonna take forever if I go that way. All right, let's just pretend this house is 3 bedroom, 1 bath, and it rents for
It'll probably rent for about $1,100 maybe.
Okay, $1,100. $1,100, 3 bedroom, 1 bath. The monthly payment, $90,000. Your monthly payment, say, is $620, right? It rents for $1,100. Mm-hmm. That's including property taxes, insurance, and your mortgage. What would you go look at a deal, or would you just pass?
So I mean, honestly, this looks like a pretty good deal. If anyone is watching this and it is looking for a deal, this one honestly does not look bad at all. It doesn't look like it needs much updating. Probably a new carpet, new appliances in the kitchen, perhaps, to do more of like a stainless steel. The bathroom's not awful. So like probably max you'd spend, keep going a little bit. Is that the basement? I'm not really sure.
Yeah, it looked like a garage basement, but you know what I was thinking? Could this be converted into a room? You know, and that's what people do.
So the thing in this is why it's good to know your local areas is the basements get so much water in Norwood that not very many people convert their garages because it's so expensive and there's so many problems like mold down there. And so, yes, I would actually look at that deal. It's a little farther north than I liked. I'm very particular with my locations because even if deals don't work out in the short term, your time is on your side, and eventually good areas will appreciate. And so I'm more particular on the location than probably most people, but I mean, I consider that you'd have to add in reserves, like CapEx reserves, maintenance reserves into your numbers, and that would probably at least cash flow $200 a month. Okay. So to me, like my criteria is 10% cash on cash or $200 a month and $200 a month per door. And so that meets my criteria. The location, but like I'd look at that.
Right. So
if your listeners want to look into that deal, I definitely recommend it. It looks pretty good just from initial view, but it probably needs an inspection. There's a lot of things that can hide on the internet, such as like electrical problems, plumbing problems, HVAC problems, and those are honestly the most expensive. Your big CapEx items like roof. And so when you're getting an inspection, like pay attention to, what is it, roof, HVAC, plumbing, and electrical. Those are things that you can't really see inside pictures. And so they could look good just from like professional pictures, but once you dig in and get an inspection, it might turn out to just be a huge renovation.
Yes, and that's for like people who are just buying properties. The areas she just named, the AC, the plumbing, the electric, them are all big cost items. So when you are purchasing your home, you want to make sure at least you know what's wrong with them or they're okay. Because if you have to fix your roof, electrical, plumbing, you can start spending lots and mess up your deal. But
exactly.
if you say you had to make, this is hypothetical, if you had to make $500,000 in 1 year from today, so today is like the 27th. If you had to make $500,000 from today to next year, or like you just disappear, what would be your plan of action? Like, how would you go about doing it?
If I had to make 500,000, or if I had 500,000?
No, if you had to make it. So the question oftentimes, like millionaires, they'd be like, if you started over and you had to make $1 million in 1 year, how long could you make it, and how long would it take? I was saying, if the pressure was on you to like come up with $500,000 cash from today to next year, 1 year from today, what would be your plan of action?
Do I start with $0 in my bank account?
You trying to get to 500,000? All you got is your knowledge and your name.
Okay. You know what I would do, and I honestly think it's very possible, is probably syndicate money, because I still have all of my resources. I still know all of my connections, and I would burr deals like no other. So burring is buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and you can basically recycle the same private money over and over and over again. I know people who do this like, honestly, I'd probably flip it at this point because time is not on my side. I'm just trying to get more money really fast.
Right.
If it was like a long-term game, I'd burr it so I can keep my properties for cash flow. But if the goal was just to get $500,000 really fast, flip those babies, And so I think flipping is the best way to get quick cash, but it doesn't lead to passive income, which passive income is what leads to financial freedom. And that's why that's my strategy. I want to basically, so my new goal, I just redid this, is $20,000 per month in passive income from real estate. And so by the time I'm 30, so I have 8 years to get there. And I think it's 280 grand per year. And that would provide me like a very nice lifestyle wherever I live, and just purely from passive income and rentals.
Wow. And the crazy part is you actually went through the numbers, because that sounds crazy, right? $20,000 a month in passive income. But but if you actually break it down.
Here we go. I have my board with me. It sits on my desk.
And you wrote it down.
$20,000 per month. So I got to stare at it every single day until I get it.
No, I do the same thing, because when you write it down, like, I know you're going to achieve that goal, like, because just by you jumping out here, using private money already. I know people, been calling me about real estate for years and still haven't bought one rental property, and they got the money. Yeah. It's like they're just scared to take that action,
Yeah. So my previous goals were 45 by 30, 45 units. And so that would be I broke it down into years. And so I wanted $100,000 in passive income by the time I'm 30. That equals 45 doors approximately. And so I was going to do 1 this year, 2 next year, 3 the year after that, 4 the year after that, all the way to the time I'm 30, which is 45. But I've already passed that goal. So when I close on this triplex, it'll be four doors in 6 months. And so I think that I'm on a little bit more of like a upward trend. And right. So I really want to push myself and, like make goals that scare me and like hold myself to those standards, because I'm a big believer in like when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And so by me telling like my Instagram community that I'm going to do it, like I'm absolutely going to do it. So I'm probably going to edit my goals in like another year or two when I'm like buying many more units. But for the meantime, like this is a good medium between like they sound a little bit scary, but like I can do it and I know I can do it.
What do you think, if you could say it with one word, like what's your superpower? Something that you're better than most people at, like.
My boss likes to tell me I'm fearless. I don't know if
that match up.
I don't know if that's like cocky to say,
well,
but I don't know. I don't really think too much about things. I jump in and I figure it out later. So I would say fearless number one, and like resourceful would be number two. Because I, of course, run into problems like everybody else, but I think that my job and like probably my college education has taught me like, you know how to fix it, and like you have the resources to fix it. You just have to figure out who the right person to ask is. And so those are my 2 words.
Right. So, if it was a secret between you and God and the universe, like all right, me, right? For me personally, I was a mailman, right? I was working a job, but deep down, like in the back of my head, I knew I was a real estate investor. So I knew it, but it was hard for other people to know it because I had on a mailman uniform. And so I knew, real estate was my purpose. Like I just knew it. I thought about it every day. I read about it every day. Like that was my life purpose. What do you think your purpose is from the universe? Like, what's your for your life goal?
That's a tough one. And I mean, I feel like people spend their entire lives trying to figure that out. I feel, I guess, called to make communities better. And if that is through real estate, then so be it. I think that's kind of why I'm more drawn to like bigger multi-family units where you can also have like a mixed use component at the bottom, because you are basically creating community. And so I love the idea of creating community because you are touching people's lives. You are like being integrated into people's lives. You touch them every single day. And so I think that's, I mean, in any way I can, whether that's like being like active in my community in one way, or if that's in developing real estate. I think, at the end of the day, when you are on your deathbed, it doesn't matter how much passive income per year you have. It matters what kind of relationships you have. And so if I can help people, if I can touch people's lives, if I can make them better, then at the end of the day, like I think I will have felt fulfilled in life, like more fulfilled in life than if I were to buy like 8,000 units and be a multi-billionaire,
You right on the head. Instead of saying if, just say when I. You know what I mean?
When I am a multi-billionaire.
Yes, when I. So you claim it, you know what I mean? Because I used to always say that. People be like, how you meet somebody out in public, and they used to be like, hey, what do you do? And I'll be like, I'm a mailman. And when I leave, I tell my wife, I'm like, darn it, I should have said I'm a real estate investor, because it opened up doors. They may be, own homes or something. So I started after a while, I started remembering when people say, hey, what are you? Even though I didn't have no property yet, I just say I'm a real estate investor. And then
I
now,
love that.
Yeah, so
you're manifesting.
Yes, out loud in public.
Yeah.
You put a lot of pressure on yourself too, but I knew I was, so it's just I wasn't to the world yet,
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I could say I'm Soli and I build communities, or I change communities. And so I don't know. Well, I mean, I just think that, I was a little bit small-minded when I began real estate investing, just like, one property at a time, save, buy a property, save, buy a property, stay my W-2. And as time goes on, as you talk to more people and as you network with more investors, you really see what the possibilities are, like the kind of life you can build with real estate. And I think that's why it's so attractive. It's like there's so much room for creativity. There's so much room to help people. You know, the community is so strong and supportive that it's something I'm really proud to be a part of.
Exactly. And the main reason I love real estate is because I get to do what I want to do every day. It's weird.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the main thing. I think most real estate investors want to, you know what I mean? I want to go play basketball. I want to take my son to the park, or I just want to travel. It's like real estate give you the option whether you want to go to work. Because even some days now, I think about like ChickfilA sent me a email saying they're hiring. I'm like, maybe I should go get a job. I don't know.
You know, if you have a Chase credit card right now, they're offering 20% off Chick-fil-A. Just a
oh wow.
Yeah. I love Chick-fil-A, and all of my followers send me their Chick-fil-A daily. And so I think it's a running joke that I should change my name to ChickfilA and Leases.
Oh, that's funny. I need Chick-fil-A to sponsor this podcast. All right. All right. This is like the final 5 questions, all right? It's just whatever first thing come to your mind. If you could spend a day with one person in the world that you really admire and you can just like get to know them and their business and all that, who would it be?
Oh my gosh, that's a hard one. You know, honestly, maybe like Warren Buffett or something. Like I watched his documentary on Netflix, and he's just such an interesting man. Like he's incredibly smart, and he's like one of the geniuses of our time. That he's just so knowledgeable about like everything, and he spends like hours and hours a day reading. I think he'd just be an interesting guy to like pick his brain on just everything, like how he learns, what he reads, you know, like how he invests, stuff like that.
Yeah, Warren Buffett. That's a popular answer. He just seemed like.
Is it? Oh no!
No. I'm saying it's a lot. That's good. He's the richest man in the world, billionaire. But Warren Buffett, he seemed like he's detached. Like he don't have an Instagram, so it's hard to even get inside his mind. You know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how he came up with all the things he came up with, but that man's a genius.
Yeah. All right.
You know what? Okay, this is the second answer. I'm going to tell you anyways, though, because this is a good one. So there's a guy named Steve Sims. Have you read the book Bluefishing?
Oh, see, look, listen. This is how you know, all right, you're going to be successful. All right, remember I told the story at the beginning of the podcast about the guy who was a bouncer?
Oh, did you interview Steve Sims?
Shh, it ain't come out yet. But yeah, see?
Oh my gosh. Wait,
yes.
No. Oh, wow.
That's crazy. Because look, that's what I was telling you about. Because you at the beginning stage, he's at the end. He was a bouncer. And all them.
I should have knew that. Oh my gosh.
Knew that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is a little fangirl moment.
That's crazy.
I have like bought his book for so many people, and it's changed people's lives. Like I have bought the books and sent it to them and said, you need to read this, it will change your life. And like I've had friends quit jobs because of it, you know, like go pursue their authentic life type of thing, all from reading this book. And like, oh my gosh, that's okay. I would spend a day. That guy is so cool.
That's
if
crazy.
I could be a guy, like maybe him, you know, like he's awesome. He's so down to earth. But I love his story. I loved his book. And I think that I take my Warren Buffett back. I go Steve Sims all the way.
And that's hilarious. Like that was crazy. I just met him yesterday myself. I talked to him, but
that's
yeah.
awesome.
So that episode will be coming out. But that's crazy. All right. What are your hobbies outside of working in real estate?
So I play soccer. I played on the boys team in high school. And so I attribute my real estate success to playing on the boys team because, you know, real estate is a male dominated industry. Right. And I learned how to kick ankles young. So that's what I do. That's one of the things I do. Let's see. I play guitar.
Okay.
Honestly, like real estate investing is my hobby. And so maybe it sounds lame, but like there's not that much time between like work and real estate investing. Like I love building businesses and wealth. And so like working on my Instagram, you know, like building that business, building rental portfolios, like that's what makes me feel alive. And so like maybe it's work, but I think it's a hobby. So that's my hobby.
Okay. All right. This is a question I just thought of, but I want to ask you, like, because some people have a hard time saving up that down payment. So what are some ways you do to save your money? Like, what's some tips to help people?
Whew. I'm a natural saver. I don't budget. To me, it's more of a game. Like, how much can I stack up in my bank account that I like to play against myself? But I think a lot of people aren't natural savers. And so I would say, like, budget and know where your money goes, because a lot of people, like, I guess they just don't want to look because they don't want to know the answer. And so, like, take a real look and tell yourself, like, it's okay what I find, but I need to find out. So like, know where your money is going, know how much money you spend on Chick-fil-A, like know how much money is going toward your fixed expenses, your variable expenses, like things that aren't necessary, like, I don't know, close your vacation. And once you see those numbers, I think that like you might get a little bit shocked. And that's kind of the shock that you need to like, you know, create a budget and either like make more money or decrease your expenses. So I'd say just do like a financial check of yourself and see where you're spending your money.
Yeah, I always say, because it's hard for me to budget too. So it's kind of like, if you just save enough coins, you don't have to worry about budgeting so bad. It can be stressful.
Yeah.
All right. So the old version, like my podcast about the new American dream, the old American dream would be you will stay working at a company for 30, 40 years. And then after you retire and you get your Social Security and your benefits plans, you can start traveling the world and start enjoying your life. That's the old American dream. What's your version of the new American dream?
You know, I really do believe in putting in like really, really hard work. But just working smarter. So like building, like putting your money, your active income into passive investments and creating passive income. And like, yes, you work your butt off for like 5 to 10 years, but I feel like my American dream is getting to like 28, 29 years old and being able to like at that point do what I want. Like, I think the American dream is very entrepreneurial. Like, it's complete freedom with your time, you know, it's the ability to do what you want when you want. And to me, that's just the type of life I want to live. You know, when I raise a family, like, I don't want to be able to be like, well, I can't do it, I'm working, you know? And so it's like, what?
No, I was going to say, because you said at the beginning, you want to be able to, you know, at 29 years old, have enough passive income where you can do what you want. But I think the middle class and the rich, that's the two different parts. Like the middle class save money and save it over time and let it build up. All right, the rich guy, he saved up a little bit and invested it for passive income. So now it's kind of like, instead of him working still, because you still, if you just him saving, you got to keep working to keep saving. But once you start investing in real estate or anything, you can scale back on working and your money's still working for you. So that's working smart instead of working harder, you know?
And I mean, and that the American dream to me is like being able to do that, to have that option and to be able to have like the resources and that just the ability to like put those types of deals together and to find those investments, to buy those investments. And so, I mean, I think that the younger generation is all about that kind of lifestyle, and things change through generations. And like maybe our parents were more like, let's take the traditional route, let's get married at this age, like just, you know, like there's a sequence of events. And I think our generation is a little bit more like watching them and seeing how that affected their lives. Like, I don't think my parents love their jobs, but they do it to provide and they sacrificed a lot. And so I think by watching, you know, that's the same story that so many people have. But by watching that, it's like, no, I don't want that. You know, I want like freedom of my time. I want to do things I love, like absolutely like make me feel alive. And so, I don't know what like the next generation will be from us. It's kind of scary, but
Right.
you know, I think that our whole generation is, more in tune with like what you call the new American dream.
Exactly. That summed it up. All right. Let the people know where they can find you at if they want to reach your website, if this should be up by then, or, anywhere.
So probably the best place to find me is on Instagram. It's at lattes.leases. I answer every single DM. So feel free to send me a message, ask me questions. I just like to chat with people.
Sounds good. And the website or no?
Yeah, check out my website. It's lattesandleases.com. It will be probably beautiful and renovated by then. It's also in my Instagram bio, so you can just find it that way.
All right. Thanks for coming on.
Okay, thank you.
All right.